been coming to the events for, I think maybe 7, only medical device events, because that's our core focus. I really try to make it individualized versus a one-size-fits-all. So as much research as possible on the delegates that are going to be here. So really conscientious selection of those, but then also studying up as much as you can on what their areas of responsibility are, how it might fit with our services, and then get ready to engage in the conversation. First, use the information that's available through Marcus Evans, and that provides different levels depending on how the person fills out their information. Then, as much as possible, research through LinkedIn, on the internet, as much as you can find. There's usually quite a bit. And that's pretty much it on the research side. If there's anybody that that's connected to, works in the same company or division, sometimes some questions through them as well. I always think about it as how would I like the meeting to be started if I were on the other side. You're selling to somebody that you don't know if they want to be sold to, and based on the publicly available information that you have, you may or may not know whether there's a good fit. So my goal is always to start the meeting asking about themselves. What do they do? Confirming what I learned, through information, making any connections that I do have with them, whether it might be school, college, a personal affiliation or a business affiliation. And then I just say, my goal is to just really identify whether there's a fit or not. And I think people really relax when you do that, when you're not ready to just open a presentation and begin selling to them. I'll be honest, I think I'm just nimble with that. I frame the meeting based on what I hear about what they do. So if somebody is a director of R&D, I focus on the areas that we support the upfront development process, prototyping, helping them in the design development. If somebody's responsible for operations or cost savings or supply chain, then I would focus more in those areas and where we shine. As far as scarcity, I probably focus more on why we're different rather than scarcity. We're a privately held business, which there are fewer and fewer of, it seems, and our customers really appreciate the flexible, intimate approach that they get from our company. So maybe I create that as a scarcity. It's not as available these days. A couple things. One is that I lay out some of our more interesting products, because typically people like to touch and feel, and that causes them to ask questions that are relevant to them or their experience. So that would be one, and then I move the conversation based on where they seem interested. The other is then to try to navigate asking them about what their areas of responsibility are, what their biggest challenges are, without just asking them what they need, right? You have to use a little bit of what you did in your homework, I think, to navigate that so that it doesn't sound too direct. That really varies. I would say I probably only get 50% of the time where I get that commitment on site. I try to connect it to a time frame that I'll be visiting the area. I'm fortunate because I live in the Midwest, so I can travel, or my team can travel at any time. So I usually try to define what the next step would be: a lunch and learn, a presentation to a group, demonstration, virtual tour, things like that. It's hard to get them to put a date down because it usually involves more people than just them. So it's proactive follow-up, I think. And if they're interested, they've engaged enough, I feel like to take the follow-up. I've had a really pretty good success at getting the post follow-up. I've attended a couple of meetings without, scheduled one-to-ones, and so the benefit that Marcus Evans provided is you still get, to view the delegates and do the same level of research as you would if you were taking one-to-ones. So then really just seeking opportunities to get together with, them in the social times, or having Marcus Evans, team members help make those. You want to learn a little bit more than you can in publicly available information, but it also allows you to tailor the conversation a bit to what you know that they're interested in. I haven't had quite as many meetings with the speakers as I have just the regular delegates, but I find some of the speakers fascinating.